Most people are very focused on protein. There's protein shakes, there's added protein in so many different things, and people are concerned about not getting enough protein. But from my understanding, most people don't get enough fiber on a daily basis. And most people don't really, like the average person, we'll go into classrooms, we'll go in and do talks and we'll say, what is fiber? And people they think it's bran flakes, or they think it's Weetabix, or fiber is, I don't know what it is. It's cereals or it's something. So what is fiber and why is it so important for good health?
Yeah, so fiber is basically the skeleton of a plant, if you want to look at it that way. These are the structural carbohydrates that are only found in plants. We call it fiber, and there's insoluble fiber, there's soluble fiber, there's resistant starches, and there's a whole variety, and it's like a whole range of everything in between. There's some fibers where people can't agree, is this a soluble or an insoluble fiber, or is it a starch? It's quite a complicated area. But these are structural carbohydrates that are only found in plants. Now, we used to think that fiber was just like a scrubbing brush to make sure that you don't get constipated, just to push everything through. And there is still a bit of truth to that. I mean, if you don't get enough insoluble fiber in your diet, you're very likely to end up, being constipated and bunged up and not able to get to the bathroom enough. Never mind all the other negative health effects that having a fiber deficient diet has on your body. But the fiber in our diet is so important because our gut loves fiber and our gut microbiome loves fiber. So we talked earlier about our digestive system and how incredible and flexible it is. So that starts with our powerful jaw muscles, our teeth. We've got the hydrochloric acid in our stomach, which is almost as powerful as battery acid. We've got
battery acid.
Almost as powerful as battery acid. We've got the digestive enzymes, a whole cocktail of those produced by our pancreas and our saliva. But our body's really good at digesting food, and it can basically turn its hand to anything. We can digest so many different foods, right? Even foods that are really unhealthy, we can digest them. But all of those mechanisms are pretty powerless when it comes to digesting the structural carbohydrates found only in plants that we call fiber. And that job has been handed over to our gut microbes, the trillions of bacteria that live mostly in our large bowel. And they do that process. They break down that fiber and digest it incredibly efficiently. And when we serve our microbes a steady supply of fiber-rich foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, leafy greens, seeds, unprocessed plants, we immediately, for example, boost the production of beneficial postbiotic substances like short-chain fatty acids. These are substances that we only get from our gut microbes. You can't get them you can't actually eat these substances. You have to feed your body healthy food to maximize your production of them. And, the short chain fatty acids that our gut microbiome make when we eat a healthy fiber and diverse diet actually gives our human body a lot of benefits, incredible benefits, right? So 70% of the energy that is needed by the cells that line our large bowel is provided by short chain fatty acids, butyrate, made by our gut microbes. So without enough short chain fatty acids, the lining of our gut becomes unhealthy and more permeable, so-called leaky gut, allowing the contents of our gut and bacterial end products to enter our bloodstream, contributing to chronic inflammation, which we spoke about earlier, and contributing to increased risk of problems like heart disease. The short chain fatty acids that are made by our gut when we eat a diversity of fiber help to regulate the incredibly complex immune system of the gut. As you guys know, 70% of our body's immune system resides in the lining of our bowel. And our short chain fatty acids help to prevent that immune system from becoming overactive or hypersensitive, helping to prevent conditions like Crohn's disease. The short chain fatty acids also bind specifically to special lining cells in the gut that are designed to bind to short chain fatty acids. That is your gut microbes communicating very directly with special cells, special human cells lining your gut. And by doing so, help to promote the production of chemicals called GLP-1 and peptide YY. Now, these are signaling chemicals that enter our bloodstream. can affect our brain and our appetite and help control our blood sugars. You may have heard about all the coverage about these new weight loss drugs, these appetite suppressants.
Yeah.
So they focus on the same mechanism. They're GLP-1 agonists. So they're trying to tap in to that fiber microbiome brain motility axis that already exists in humans, but has been really badly abused by the standard Western diet, I guess. And this is kind of a shortcut to kind of make that system like super active to help people to regulate their appetite when their appetite has become completely dysregulated, But
Wow.
we could talk about the benefits of fiber and why choosing to fuel your body with fiber is so important for hours. We have done before on previous episodes. But, I guess the take home is sadly 90% of adults don't consume nearly enough fiber. In fact, people, you said earlier about protein deficiency, people taking protein shakes and all that kind of thing. But in fact, any gastroenterologist will tell you that fiber deficiency is the number one dietary deficiency that we see in our clinics. And you can, by simply aiming to eat more healthy vegan food, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, you can start to correct that fiber deficiency gradually. And, thanks to your wizardry in the kitchen, all of the, if you do one of the Gut Health Revolution meal plans, for example, you can build up to between 50 to 70 grams of fiber per day, which is the sort of level of dietary fiber consumption we see in the healthiest populations in the world. If anyone wants to listen back to your previous episode with Dan Buettner, he talks all about that, about how that kind of 50 plus grams of fiber per day seems to be the sweet spot.
Yeah, because the average intake is somewhere between 16 and 18%, or 16 to 18 grams per day. Versus if you're eating a vegan diet, you'd be around 44 grams, and on the Gut Health Revolution, you'd be pushing 50, even to 60 or 70.
50, 60, yes, you're right. So the average omnivore gets about, about 20 or less grams of fiber per day. The average vegan gets about 40 grams of fiber per day. But the average whole food plant-based eater who maybe doesn't apply that label or call themselves vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian or whatever, but they are absolutely focusing on those healthy vegan foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, avoiding the junk food and minimizing or eliminating animal products entirely if they wish. They're going to be hitting 50 to 70 grams of fiber per day. So they are going to be well on their way to microbiome superpowers,